I'm Heyzeus. In this video, we're going to be looking at 5 massive traders who got banned by Valve. With trade bans kind of happening a lot recently, I thought it'd be interesting to look at some of the craziest bans we've ever seen and see if there's a pattern to what's caused them. There have definitely been some really wild bans over the years with some very interesting stories behind them. So let's get into things. Now, this video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey, the trading site where you can quickly and easily trade your skins. Just log in, add your trade link, and you are good to go. All you have to do is select the items you want and hit the trade button. There's over 150,000 items to choose from, and if you use my code Heyzeus, you can get up to $5 off your first trade. And even if you're not interested in trading, the site holds free, daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways that you can enter completely for free. It's a great site, check it out, link is in the description. So the first person on this list is a name very few people will recognize, SamAlex. SamAlex used to be one of the biggest traders in Counter-Strike, moving skins on a scale that's basically unheard of these days. He's also trade banned on almost all of his accounts and has a dodgy affiliation with basically everything dirty in the scene at the time. So the SamAlex story starts pretty well. He began as a TF2 and Dota trader in 2011 before moving to CSGO after the arms deal update. During 2014, he reportedly did $450,000 of cash sales, a huge amount for the time, and around early 2015, he was reportedly considering quitting CS trading to focus on his studies, but with CSGO rapidly growing and skin prices steadily rising, it's not really a surprise he decided against it. Now, on top of building up his trading empire, he also took up a mod role in R Global Offensive Trade, a dead subreddit that was a big deal in trading back then. And by the end of 2015, his trading network was truly massive. He had a massive web of accounts cycling a colossal number of skins, probably on a larger scale than anybody does today. However, none of this would save him from controversy. The first sign of trouble was when Sam got a CSGO rep ban in January 2016, allegedly for trading with a scammer. This ban doesn't seem to have been widely believed. The subreddit straight up refused to unmod him, and instead they put the blame on the trader in charge of CSGO rep, who apparently wasn't the nicest fellow, and there were many messages of support for Sam. Unfortunately for Sam though, this sentiment was not going to last, because in June 2016, he received another ban, this time from Steam rep, and was booted from the subreddit. Reddit being Reddit, the comments were a complete 180 compared to the previous ban, and Sam replied with a statement where he essentially said, "F all you guys, I don't need you." Also, apparently the reason he got banned was because of a 100k deal with Care, Phantom Lord's ex-business partner. Now, it's hard to tell what's really true in 2016 skins trading politics, but what followed suggests that Sam probably wasn't the cleanest trader. A look at his massive network of stacked trading accounts from the time seems to show he was getting a lot of skins from gambling sites, and as 2016 went on, more and more allegations of him cashing out scammers and laundering dupe skins started to emerge, although it didn't stop him from trading. In fact, by the end of 2017, his trading accounts had enormous inventories, a testament to his immense skill as a trader. And then Valve banned him. It's not 100% clear when exactly the trade bans dropped. It was probably early 2018 when the 7-day trade hold was added to skins, but either way, Valve came through and nuked his entire network. Only his main account would avoid a ban. It's hard to know if this guy really was the villain some people claimed he was, but to judge by his Reddit, he's moved on just fine, and he's busy doing fun stuff like getting arrested for weed in Idaho and things like that. Sounds like a great time. Anyway, it's 2016, and Valve has just sent a cease and desist to a whole bunch of gambling sites who've been busy taking AKs of children for the past few years. This is the warning shot, and massive ban waves were soon to follow. Over the next few years, tens of millions of dollars of skins will be lost forever in thousands of banned bots. But amongst the carnage of the gambling crackdown, there is one name that stands out from the crowd. That name is Lucasello, and Lucasello is a moron. So this guy was the owner of a gambling site called CSGO Reaper, a site that was pretty much exactly what you'd expect. It got hit pretty hard, and many of its bots are still high on the leaderboards to this very day. But of course, we're not interested in the bots. Every site has banned bots. What we're interested in is what the dickhead in charge of it did with his personal collection. So basically, this guy decided it was a good idea to put all his Dragon Lords, Howls, and Medusas into a single account where Valve could just easily go and ban them all. in early 2017, that is exactly what ended up happening. All up, he lost 147 Dragon Lores, 104 Hows, and 74 Medusas, worth about $1.5 million today. The only explanation for this is stupidity, really. Like, it all could have been avoided if he just ran the account out of a different IP with a different phone number, and it could have been worse too. CSGO Exchange suggests that he moved 250 knives to OP skins days or even hours before the ban dropped. Now, you'd think he'd learn from an experience like this, but no, apparently not, because in early 2018, he made an absolutely insane purchase, a souvenir of Dragon Lore for over $60,000. This was widely reported on in the news at the time. Many sites claimed it was the most expensive sale ever, which it wasn't. But what wasn't as widely reported on is that this skin was trade banned barely 1 month later when Lucasella managed to get his personal account banned for gambling yet again. Apparently, he could afford a $60,000 skin, but he couldn't pay $5 to move the account to a different phone number from his gambling boss. Either way, it was a self-own for the ages. Anyway, Lucasella wasn't the only big gambler to lose an account around this time. In fact, there was someone much more famous who did as well. Who was it? That's right, it was Juicy. So in 2017, Juicy, who's still an active YouTuber, had a stacked inventory worth $500,000, including pretty much every nice knife in the game and a souvenir Dragon Lore. Juicy also ran a gambling site. Valve didn't like that. This is what happened according to Juicy.
So if you guys don't know, I owned a site called CSGO Gem, and I owned a site called Raffle Trades. So the site got pretty big, and Valve didn't like that. And basically what they did is they backtracked where the bots were made from, and they're made by me, and they decided, hey, Juicy, you made these bots on your IP, you're banned. But I completely understand. I'm not here to say fuck Valve. Fuck Valve.
Anyway, as you can tell, Juicy, with his fat stacks from gambling, wasn't too worried. Like, I'm sure it hurt, but the hurt would have been for sentimental reasons. But this ban is only the start of the story. You see, Juicy rebuilt his inventory on a new account, proudly advertising it was $1 million. Now, you might think this will put a massive fucking target on his back for Valve to come and ban him again, but that is not how things went. Firstly, in July 2023, Juicy got banned again. But this ban wasn't on his new account, it was actually on his old one. You see, despite being trade banned, Juicy was still able to play matchmaking on this account, and that's what he'd been doing for the past 6 years, until he got hit by this extra ban. And what's even weirder about it is that it was an Overwatch ban, when Overwatch was supposed to be turned off at the time. Juicy made a whole video saying he had no idea what was happening. I believe him, but then, right as I was making this video, he got a third ban, this time on the $1 million account. And it wasn't because Valve noticed his video or anything, it was actually because of a war between gambling sites. And funnily enough, the guy who got Juicy banned had once given Juicy a gambling sponsorship when he was 13 years old. Isn't CS gambling just a bastion of ethics? Anyway, I'm sure this really hurt Juicy, for sentimental reasons. So our next trader is a guy called QKSS, who has the proud status of being the biggest individual fuck up in the history of skins. Now, for someone so high profile, he is a bit of a mystery. There's basically only a few things that are certain. Firstly, he's Chinese. Secondly, he's fucking loaded. And thirdly, he is a bit of a dummy. Anyway, QKSS appears to have started collecting in 2017, and he quickly gathered quite literally the most expensive collection out there. Now, he had a lot of forgettable stuff, you know, like a full collection of clean gems, a 500k stat track minimal wear 661 with 4 Titan hollows, that sort of stuff. But his real specialty was picking up one-of-one, utterly irreplaceable collector's pieces. Two great examples of this were his Kato 14 souvenir holocrafts, and also his Desert Eagle Crimson Web with ×4 Titan hollows, a ×4 Iberpower Hollow Kami, a ×4 Reason Hollow PP Bison, not to mention about 50 other ×4 Kato holocrafts, 32 unapplied Kato stickers, a factory new glove collection, and a bunch of other whack shit as well. Truly, it was a collection like no other, and as you can tell from his username on one of his accounts, he loved the attention. But then, on December 13, 2018, he got fact banned on both his accounts. So how does a ban like this happen? Well, the story goes he apparently lent his account to a streamer who cheated on it. GG. Now, if you're wondering what the source for this story is, the source is my YouTube channel, and my source was one guy with connections to the Chinese scene. So take this explanation for what it's worth, although one thing is 100% clear, one way or another, this definitely got VAC banned. One myth about QKSS is actually that he had someone arrested for scamming him once, so if that's true, I can only imagine what kind of shallow grave that streamer is currently lying in. And while it's incredibly difficult to properly estimate the value of these two inventories because of how unique the stuff in it is, I would guess that it's currently about $8 million. Anyway, QKSS was determined to build back better from this disaster, and with the body of the streamer safely disposed, he proceeded to make another Steam account. Now, this particular collection was a bit more modest. He only had 30 times 4 cattle holocrafts this time, although it did have 40 unapplied stickers, including 17 reason holos. And having successfully redeemed his status as the #1 collector in the game, QKSS quit. He just left it all there. And this is where something weird happened. You see, seemingly for no reason in early 2022, his account got banned. Then, after it got banned, all the skins in it got moved to different accounts. Then, the accounts the skins got moved to got banned as well, and then the original account got deleted. The current explanation is that it was compromised by a corrupt Steam support agent who tried to steal the stuff, but no one really knows for sure here. What is certain though is that QKSS has built up the most expensive collection in Counter-Strike twice and then proceeded to lose all of it both times. That's an accomplishment. Anyway, our final ban is going to be a bit different to the rest of the list because we are not going to be looking at one trader. We're going to be looking at about 200 of them who got themselves banned in one of the biggest and most earth-shattering ban waves in the history of the game. So this story starts with gambling sites again. In the years since the big 2018 ban waves, gambling sites had rebuilt themselves based around peer-to-peer marketplaces. This meant that the sites had no bots, instead traders were providing the skins directly, and an entire ecosystem of traders who specialize in supplying gambling sites gradually developed. Now, these traders were at a higher risk of getting banned than ordinary users. A lot of scammed items were cycling through gambling sites, and sometimes people got smoked. But for the most part, Valve dealt with it the way Valve usually deals with this stuff. They ignored it until it caused them a problem. And for several years it didn't. But then there was beef. In 2023, one particular gambling site decided to go to war with another gambling site, as well as pretty much everybody else even tangibly connected. This drama was big, it was public, and after a couple of months, Valve intervened by systematically banning pretty much every single gambling trader they could possibly find. And they weren't hard to spot. You see, while gambling traders might not have talked much about where they sold, at the time of the bans their accounts were very public, very well known, and massively stuffed full of skins, and Valve went on an absolute rampage. The bans kicked off on June 30, 82 accounts worth $6 million were hit, and by July 6, this number was up to 196 and 8.5 million, and ultimately the body count would end up reaching 9 million. According to this count by Pickle, casualties included 149 gems, 49 Dragon Laws, 38 Hows, 16 Gungnir, and 15 Wild Lotuses. A pretty decent effort by Valve, and this had a huge impact on the trading scene, but not in the way you'd expect. You see, you'd think after losing $9 million, all these gambling traders would pack up and go home, but no, selling on gambling sites is way too lucrative for that. So instead, all the traders who'd just been hit made dummy accounts, and within 3 weeks, they were all back to work trading. The result has been a game of whack-a-mole where Valve have continued to ban gambling traders on their alts to this day, but gambling is still happening. It's kind of like Orcs Wars in 40k, unless you literally torch the entire infested planet with everybody on it, the green fuckers are just going to keep on coming back. And this is kind of the point I wanted to make with this video. If you look at the history of big bans when it comes to traders, the pattern is gambling, 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 stupidity, then gambling. And while I'm not saying everyone who gets a trade ban deserves it, a lot of big bans are due to gambling. But despite years and years of bans and millions of dollars being lost, gambling is still going. And even though I think there's probably millions and millions of dollars of bans still to come, I don't think gambling is going away either. Unless we torch the entire earth.